For Giannis, all it would take is Jaylen Brown, a 2025 first, a 2027 first, and a 2026 second. That could land Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Celtics while retaining Porzingis, Drew, Derek White, and Jason Tatum.
Hey, if that
Insane how
happens,
that works.
if that was to happen, Adam Silver needs to veto that. There's no way he can allow that.
GMLB family, welcome back. My name is Mike Miles, and I'm with my co-hosts, Victor, Daniel, and Kevin. And this is episode 5 of season 3 of the Good Morning Let's Basketball show. We got a lot packed today. Giannis has been involved in trade rumors after the horrendous Bucks start. Shout out Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers. After that, we're going into Pretenders versus Contenders, which will be hosted by Kevin. After that, we'll talk about some rising stars in the league that we've seen for the first few weeks of the NBA season. And after that, we have a 2v2 draft of active left-handed NBA players. It'll be me and Daniel versus Kevin and Victor. As always, we are available on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We appreciate a rating, a sub, a like, anything helps. And as always, we do have our email if you'd like to email into the show. Talk to us. It could ask us about anything. It could ask us about the NBA, basketball in general. That is gmlbfans@gmail.com. We do read the emails on the show. Unfortunately, no emails today, but let's jump into it. Let's jump into it, fellas. How we feeling before I never ask how we're feeling before we jump into topics. Are we feeling good? Are we feeling good tonight? It is election night, the day of recording.
I'm feeling good, but it's a sad day. There's no NBA.
Yeah. Did make our job a little easier tonight, not having to watch some league. But Kevin, Dan, how we feeling? Are we feeling good?
It's a rainy, gloomy day where I'm at. I'm feeling all right, but just like you guys said, it's election day. There's no hoops on. I think it's a sad day for the GMLB podcast.
Why would you say that? To start the
Rainy,
episode.
rainy, gloomy day for sure. Go to work, it's dark. Get home from work, it's dark again. You feel like you're there for 12 hours. Felt good, had a decent day. So I'm enjoying myself. Usually I'll have ball on my TV while we're recording, kind of sub pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Not the case today, though. It's off. TV's unplugged. Make sure my lamp's on because y'all know my light gives me my struggles. I'm ready to talk about the Giannis trade rumor mill.
This was not the intention I had with asking you guys how you were feeling. But you know what? We persevere. We're a podcast of perseverance. So let's jump into some Giannis trade rumors. Fellas, we know Giannis is most likely not going to be traded. But with the horrendous start, the media's working, bro. The media's got the computer keyboards rolling. Where do you guys think a good Giannis destination is? Because there are a few they've noted: the Knicks, the Nets, the Warriors, the Heat. What do we think?
He's going anywhere. I say the most realistic shot is probably OKC with all that draft capital they have.
Do you think they'll pull the trigger though?
No, I don't think either team would pull the trigger. I don't think he's going to get traded. I mean, you pretty much said it right there. I don't think he's definitely not going to the Heat because Pat Riley making a trade is just
like we know he's not going to get traded, but like if he was like actually to request a trade, do you think OKC would pull the trigger on it? Is kind of what I meant more.
no. OKC, they weren't really like their name hasn't like popped up in any rumor mills. It was kind of just a thought I had and a post that I saw. Like, oh, it's like just from a random individual on Twitter, just saying like, oh, they could do it because of all that, simply just because of the draft capital they have. But that depends if they want to blow it up. I don't know if Giannis were to request a trade and it were to happen, would they try to get a star back? Would they try to blow it up? Doesn't really. I don't know. I don't even know if trading Giannis is even the correct course of action to take if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, because the rest of your roster is going to be pretty garbage.
The only reason I see it like being an okay idea is because Giannis still has a lot of value right now. And the Milwaukee Bucks, they're old. They're probably one of the oldest teams in NBA, if not the oldest. and then you trade away Giannis. We've saw what you could get for Kevin Durant, James Harden, Rudy Gobert even. I mean, just imagine the Giannis's value. It would be insane. So, I mean, they could capitalize on that and then just try to go for a rebuild or try to bring in pieces to help Giannis because clearly what's going on right now is not working. Their defense is terrible. Um, they're very old. And Chris Middleton, when he comes back, I don't think he's going to be that much of a difference maker for them, but we'll see.
When it comes to Giannis, like you said, Victor, I think he obviously is one of the most valuable players in the league right now. I think the Bucks, like you guys said, are aware of that and are not willing to give him up anytime soon. That being said, I'd been very vocal about why the pairing of Giannis and Curry would be good for the league and good for the fans, but I don't think I have to go into detail about that. We all know the story. As for OKC, like you said, Kevin, I mean, it's if they want to blow it up or not. I mean, adding Giannis to that, adding a ball dominant guy like Giannis to me is probably a step in the wrong direction for that OKC team. But only time will tell. I like you guys said, I don't think he's going anywhere. But I do think that it should be on his horizon. He already fulfilled his promise to Milwaukee, so there's not really much left to do in that city. I think he should be looking to expand and grow his what would that be called? His like resume.
Legacy. Yeah, resume is a good
Legacy, yeah.
word for that.
I think they were saying that if nothing happens this year, I think Giannis will request a trade. And there has been rumors that his like trade destination spots have been Brooklyn or Miami, which I really don't see why he would want to go to either of those. But
I'm gonna I'm gonna the you guys I brought some collectibles today because I went ahead and gathered actual trades that could work for
mhm.
each of those teams. And I'm gonna say them and I want to hear your guys' opinion on them. So we'll start with the Warriors. For Giannis, the most reasonable trade they could do right now, considering contracts and value and all of the legal limitations of how a trade works. For Giannis, we go Kuminga, Pods, Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, a 2025 unprotected first, a 2028 unprotected first. What's the word?
I mean, we talked about the Bucks being one of the oldest teams, so that would drastically change that, I think. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, it's Giannis, so adding him to that team, I think is just a plus, realistically. If the Bucks were to to take that on, I mean, I think obviously they would probably be the loser in that case, obviously. But I don't know. I like it. I mean, like I said, I think the Warriors would obviously benefit from it and having they'd probably lose a lot of depth, obviously, but that starting lineup would be strong.
My initial thoughts are I think what the Bucks are getting for like a potential rebuild's not bad. I think it's pretty good what they're getting. But on the Warriors side of looking at it, Warriors right now they're playing pretty good. I don't think they've played competition that has been some of those teams that you would put in like a contender category yet. I don't think they've played that level of competition. But right now, that bench unit, a lot of those guys you mentioned are coming off the bench. And I feel like their bench has been a strong reason of why they're doing so good right now. So I don't know. I think that's where they would hurt them.
It would definitely hurt them. Plus, the thought of Draymond and Giannis being on the court at the same time, that's a lot of bricks.
I
That's a
will
lot of
say
bricks, bro.
there's also a trade here. There's two for the Warriors. That's the only one I have two for. You could include Draymond. So it'd be Draymond, Kuminga, Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, 2025, 2028 picks. So you exclude Pods, include Draymond. That would match your salary to get Giannis and Portis. So you keep Pods, lose Draymond, but you also get Portis. So does that change anything? Because I feel like that's actually a pretty solid trade. Not for the Bucks, but for the Warriors if they were to pull that off.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
I
that
mean,
one better.
yeah, in both scenarios, my opinion is that Bucks lose, but in that one, that's better off for the Warriors for sure.
So let me introduce you to a trade that I think is extremely reasonable and one that I believe can actually happen, judging by previous endeavors by the GM of this franchise. That's my Boston Celtics. For Giannis, all it would take is Jaylen Brown, a 2025 first, a 2027 first, and a 2026 second. That could land Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Celtics while retaining Porzingis, Drew, Derek White, and Jason Tatum.
Hey, if that
Insane how
happens,
that works.
if that was to happen, Adam Silver needs to veto that. There's no way he can allow that.
Insane that because Jaylen Brown got that massive contract extension last year, that's all it would take to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo to Boston.
I don't.
St-
Go ahead, Kevin.
I was gonna say it's definitely a solid point. I know that was a trade kind of just created off hypotheticals. Absolutely zero chance that would ever get pulled off just from just Boston, just how good they've been. But if it did, I mean, damn, that's about it.
Would Giannis fit better than Brown? Would it work?
No,
You don't think so?
no, no. The Finals MVP?
Hey, he's not saying this is him, but he has been off to a rough start. So if they wanted to pull the trigger, now's the time. Now's the time. Daniel, what were you
Yeah.
gonna say? What were you gonna say earlier?
Nothing. I don't think I'm gonna make too many friends with this opinion, but no, even with Giannis on that team, I don't personally believe that the Celtics would be better off without Jaylen Brown. I'm a big fan of Jaylen Brown just as a player, and I genuinely believe that if he were to leave that team, Tatum would not be able to carry the weight on his shoulders. But that's just me, and like I said, I'm not making any friends with that opinion.
I mean, I kind of agree there. I don't really think they would be better off, but
I still think they'd still be able to like be one of the top teams in the West. Or I mean East.
They would be
Sure.
the top team in the East.
Yeah, easily. That would be
Um,
insane.
I know it's crazy because I saw that and I was
Unless
like, wow, that's all it takes, huh? That's really
unless
all it takes.
unless final
Because
form
Tatum would go
Knicks
to
is a
3.
different breed.
Yeah,
As I
Tatum
say,
would go to the 3.
Tatum would go to a 3, Giannis to 4, and then potentially Porzingis if he's healthy at the 5. That's just a
That's
tall
insane.
lineup. That's a really tall lineup.
All right, let's I got one for the Heat as well. Let's entertain this for just a second here. So for Giannis, the Heat could give Bam, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, Jovic, Pele Larson, but there's a third team involved for this to go down. The Pistons get Alec Burks and a second round pick back. And that's it. That's it. So
if the Heat were to do that, because I was trying to think of scenarios of what the Heat could give up. I feel like if the Heat made that trade, then they would be kind of in the same situation that Milwaukee's in right now, if that makes sense.
that's a good point. It's a good point.
I think Giannis will just find himself in the same situation, just in a warmer state and keeping more money. That's really it.
That's
Yeah.
actually facts.
Yeah, I like that analogy. I don't really have anything else to go off of. That's kind of perfect.
Yeah. I thought I would bring these trades here just to see like, okay, let's make it realistic. Like what trades will actually work here? And so far, I seriously think the only reasonable one is the Celtics. I think Brad would consider it. I don't think he would do it. But I did bring a Nets one just to show you how insane it is for the Nets to be involved in a Giannis trade. So, for Giannis and Marion Beauchamp, you give up Claxton, Cam Johnson, 2025 first round pick, 2027 first round pick, 2029 first round pick, 2031 first round pick swaps in 2026, 2028, 2030 is what it would take to get Giannis on the Nets. Hypothetically.
I was so ready to say that the Heat was the worst one on this list.
It's just their
But
entire future they would leverage for Giannis.
Yeah, no, don't do that. We saw how that went with the big three that Miles made a video about. Don't do that.
who'd you say the Nets were getting besides Giannis?
Claxton. Oh, I'm sorry. Marion Beauchamp, who they
Okay.
just decided not to extend. unfortunately. I was always high on Beauchamp, so that kind of made me sad, but
Did he like ever play?
he did, was it the start 2 years ago? He was getting like decent minutes. I don't know if it was from an injury. There was a point in time where I was watching Bucks games and he was playing, and I had a lot of faith in Bro. Kind of like how I have a lot of faith in Peyton Watson, and he just hasn't been great so far. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully he could turn it around.
I feel
Honest,
like his opportunity just hasn't been there.
if the Nets did that, man, that goes away their chances of getting Cooper Flag. And honestly, they're playing pretty decent right now. They're 4-4, 500 record. So maybe the Jazz get Cooper Flag.
Maybe the Bulls, right? You can only hope.
Probably not.
Oh man. But yeah, so those were the four I brought. Celtics, Warriors, Nets, Heat. Um, the Knicks were also said to be involved in the Giannis trade. I didn't look up a trade for them that could work because why would they do that? They just built the entire team. They just got Cat. They just brought in Mikhail. Why would they try to trade for Giannis? That didn't really make sense to me. I don't know if you guys had an opinion on that.
I think it's just them being thirsty, missing out on just numerous all stars over all of the years, missing out on top draft picks over all of the years.
Yeah,
So it's just them being like, yeah, it's our time now.
true.
But it's
They're
not.
they're kind of on like a gambling high right now. They've like won a lot of these role players and all stars and players in free agency and stuff right now. And they're just keep wanting more, man.
I don't even know what to say. That's a bad to even be like mentioned as a name that's looking for another player after, like you said, Miles, they've just built essentially what they figure is a contender. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
dumb.
Every report I saw featured the Knicks. I just did not get that, but I don't know. We know what happens when Tibbs runs the show, according to DiVincenzo. So
He was talking to
clearly,
Rick
it's not
Brunson.
going good, huh?
I thought he was talking to Rick Brunson.
He was talking to one of them. He was talking to one of them. I thought it was Tibbs. I thought Brunson was after the game, but oh well, it's not important.
I hope it was Tibbs.
Final
Why?
thoughts on Giannis going to a team.
I think if it's realistic, out of all those trade scenarios, I think he's gonna go to Warriors.
I like that. I like that as well. And honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think it's a lot more likely than we think.
If it is realistic, I think whatever team gets them might shoot themselves in the foot a little bit if he's not on the Bucks in a year or two. It's because he left in free agency.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Rub the crystal ball, see what it tells me to say on the podcast. What do I think? I'm actually not opposed to the Celtics trade. Jaylen Brown is my favorite player, and I like that all five players in the lineup could shoot and could all play defense, but like, bro, it's Giannis. We would be contenders for like the next 8 years if we had Giannis on the squad. I don't know, man. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm also not going to entertain it. I just thought it was interesting that all they have to give up is Jaylen Brown and some picks to make that work.
Well, just gonna come out of retirement for that one.
I honestly think like there's no way that would happen, not just because of like just what it would do for the league, but I don't think the Bucks would want that just for what they're giving up.
I really don't think that it would be as crazy as a situation as we're thinking. I
Dude,
know,
are you
like I already
kidding
said that,
me?
but like I'm
Dude,
imagining a LeBron and AD situation, a KD and Harden,
this is a
I
top three player in the world we're talking about, man.
yeah, I know, I trust me, I get it. Like I said, I'm not so loving of the idea that, Giannis joins the Celtics and they immediately run the show. We would definitely see other teams in the West and East be strong, I would assume. I kind of
Wait,
want
I
it to
think I
happen now.
misin I think I misinterpreted. Are you saying that they wouldn't like sweep the league if that happened?
Yeah, no, I mean, I am saying that
Okay,
100%.
yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think they would do it simply because I don't think they would do it simply because the first round picks wouldn't be great. But let's move on. Let's move on. I think the Giannis trade has run its course here. Also, whenever that Derrick Rose pennant falls, it's almost like a jaw drop.
Yeah, that was
Like
that
Daniel
was,
made that take and it just like fell like a jaw drop.
Honestly, it dropped my jaw for me.
All right, moving on to our next topic for the day. Little topic that we do, little segment that we do at the beginning of every season. This is pretenders or contenders. One of the joys of the beginning of the NBA season is seeing teams either overachieve or underachieve, and right there predicting with 76 games left if they're a pretender or a contender. So I got two teams from the East, two teams from the West. I'm going to say them. You guys are going to give your take, reasoning why. Pretty much know how it goes. We're going to start with the Western Conference. The second seeded Phoenix Suns with the record in 6-1. Tender or contender?
Contender. This year, I think they are a contender. Tyus Jones makes a difference. The rookie Ryan Dunn makes a difference. Grayson Allen, still a great NBA player. Obviously, he gets a lot of hate. Great NBA player. I think they have great pieces. And I think finally with Beal being healthy, at least for now, and the chemistry is building. I mean, they got two players who just came out of USA basketball and won gold, like on the same team. So I don't think you can count them out this year. I've actually watched them more than any other team so far. So from what I've seen, I'm very impressed. I'm going contender on them.
Yeah, I was going Contender as well, man. They look a lot scarier this year than Mike Budenholzer offense, man. It's been looking great from the games I've watched from the Suns. Not to mention too, like you said, with Tyus Jones, Ryan Dunn, they got a lot deeper. Ryan Dunn especially has been very impressive. Has held superstars to 26% when he's the primary defender on them, which is really insane. I just really like what I've been seeing from the Suns.
Yeah, no change up from me coming. I definitely think that they're contenders too, and that's a little hard for me to say because I won't get into that. But I did want to say something. I did see a nickname for KD and Devin Booker that I thought was pretty cool. That's getting thrown around out there. The Reaper in his Book of Death might just take the West this year.
I saw that.
And
That was fire.
I
yeah,
can't tell
and
if that's fire or corny, but I'm kind of leaning towards fire. That's pretty sick.
it was probably corny because I just like said it on a podcast right now, but
No, no,
if
no.
the
But
idea like that nickname is sick. I think that nickname is sick.
Book of Death seems because I don't like that it's the Reaper and his Book of Death. It should be like Reaper and the Book of Death because it implies that Katie like owns him, but
Or you
like,
could just do D,
but no.
the letter D,
I think I'm just envisioning it too much. So,
the Reaper.
oh, and D Book of Death instead of the. No, that's a good point. Nah, you know what? That's tough. That's tough. I'm going tough on that.
That would be pretty
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, the Suns are in a lot better position right now than they were last season. I think a major part was moving Devin Booker back to his natural position. He was a solid point guard for them, but getting a guy like Tyus Jones who passes first and never turns the ball over, it's like throwing it back to when Chris Paul was there and they went to the finals that year. So made a good move there. And he took pay cuts from two different franchises in order to come to Phoenix, Tyus Jones. So shout out to him.
I will
Moving
say,
on to our
I'm sorry,
go
before
ahead.
you move on, I just want to say, I'm glad you brought up Budenholzer because they're shooting a lot more threes. Booker's taking, I think, three more attempts a game right now. So that's a big plus for them. Something else I saw, but sorry, we can keep going.
Word. All right, second team here from the West, the ninth seeded, 4 win, 3 losses, Sacramento Kings. Contender.
I want them to be a contender so bad. I love watching that team. And the pieces on paper look so good. Like Keegan Murray's a dog. You got Monk off the bench, Lyles, Sabonis, Fox, Herter. Like you have all of these like guys. And it's just like, oh man, they just don't put it together. It's so hard. I think they're pretenders. I'll straight up say that. But I root for them so much. Also, I forgot to mention DeRozan before I get flamed for that. But I don't know. I watched their game last night against the Heat, and it was I don't know. I expect like way more out of them, but I'm just not seeing it yet. So as of this point in time, I'm going pretender on them.
Yeah, I feel Pretender as well, man. I don't know. I really don't feel the Kings. I have never felt them as really a contender in past years. I know I've predicted them as like a dark horse, I think last season, but this year, I don't know. It seems like a lot of games are often close, and with the other teams in the West, I feel like there's a lot better of competition, and I just don't think that they could go through 7 game series with some of those teams.
Yeah. It kind of is unfortunate to have to say that they're a pretender because I realistically do think that with Sabonis and DeRozan and Fox later in the season, if they're all healthy, could give a lot of teams in the West like a hard time, the way that say the Timberwolves did last season. Not to that extent, obviously they went pretty far. But yeah, the Kings are a strong team, and like I said, it's unfortunate that we can't call them contenders, but I think the reality is that they're not quite yet.
It seems like they're
Funny
right there
because
though.
I mean, yeah, they just brought in DeRozan. It's only been 7 games, so they have all the time in the world to build that chemistry and figure it out. But it's funny because with the 4-3 record, they're the ninth seed. Every team from 9 to third right now has a 4-3 record. So if they win tomorrow, they'll be the third seed where I'll say they're contenders. But I'll go ahead and
You're
but
right.
Not wrong.
Sabonis averaging 20, 13.7, and 6 right now. He was
Dang.
in talks for MVP vote. Yeah, he's having a really good start to the season. Game winner last night against
He
Miami.
he took a beating last night, bro. Bro got
Yeah, he did.
knocked on his ass like twice.
Yeah, it
Bam
was
was
pretty
beating
bad.
him.
But yeah, um, I'm neutral with this run right now. I know
It's
that's
a
kind of
fair take.
defeats the purpose of the game, but whatever. I'm the host. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, we have first seeded, 8 wins, 0 losses, Cavaliers of Cleveland. Pretender or contender?
I'm going Contender, dude. I have been waiting for this Cleveland Cavaliers team to pop off, and it is finally here. Darius Garland is playing extremely well. Everybody's playing well, and they don't even have Max Strus yet right now.
Or Karis LeVert and their A-No.
Wasn't Karis LeVert the immature one Donovan Mitchell was talking about? I think we all came to a consensus that it was him.
It had to be. It had to be
And look,
him, right?
and look, he's not playing, and they're one of the 2 undefeated teams in the league right now.
He came from Michigan. It's got to be him. But yeah, I'm going Contender as well. It was only 4 small episodes ago where I said Evan Mobley would be a first-time All-Star, and I will not go a single time talking about the Cavs without mentioning that I still think Evan Mobley will be an All-Star this year. And we'll get into that a little later in the episode, but yeah, right now Mitchell absolutely going off. Every week in the NBA proves that our preseason rankings list was right. It just keeps getting more right now, and I hope after this episode airs, it doesn't like completely bomb. But Donovan Mitchell's a beast. Destroyed the Bucks twice. Hit a game winner essentially the first game against them that I saw. But yeah, man, they're clicking. Jared Allen, we cannot go talking about the Cavs without talking about Jared Allen. Bro is a dog. And man, that dude just goes out in hoops, man. I know you remember the memes where he got flamed for just wearing like normal clothes. But that guy's just a hooper. All that dude cares about is hoops. But yeah, contender for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, this is obviously weird for me because I picked Donovan Mitchell to be like my new face of the NBA. And if all things go well, I mean, at the end of this season, we could be taking a new look at who the best guys in the NBA are. But that team is really good. However, later in the season, I'm tempted to say that they might be a pretender because we know that the East is strong. We know that a lot of teams are kind of building up to something right later on. So, like I said, I think I'm gonna have to go pretender on this one. I don't think this team is their, best. Well, I shouldn't say their best team, but going into the later parts of the season, I don't know if this Cavaliers team is going to stay looking the same way that it is right now and as strong. So I think I'm going to go Pretenders, but they're a strong team, no doubt.
Shout out Sam Merrill. Before you go, I want to make sure I get that in. Go ahead.
Dan Merrill was playing really good for them last year, even too. Dean Wade, shout out to him too. Yeah, Cleveland's off to a hot
True.
start. 8-0, obviously, that's you couldn't. That's the best start you can get off to playing your first 8 games, not losing a single one. Didn't make a whole lot of moves, so everyone's just playing better. Can't argue with that. Can't hate on that. Darius Garland almost had 40 the other night against Milwaukee. He's only rated one overall higher than Andrew Nemhard this year in 2K. And that's garbage
Bro,
because this guy was an
Yeah.
all-star.
I'm so glad you brought that up. He was an 82 in the last 2K. That's so messed up. But keep going.
It's crazy. There's so many.
He's
I kind of regret bringing that up because they had 8 and higher than Bane. I'm done there. But like, yeah, that's garbage. Garland from the region out there representing.
I
Proud
want
of
to say
Cleveland.
I really think this Cavs team is more of a contender than the Knicks. And I know a lot of people have the Knicks as still a contender.
I think it's too early for the Knicks right now. I think I want to see them like figure it out first a little bit.
I'm gonna bandwagon with you though, Vic. I agree. I do agree. Just because of like I don't want to say experience, but I do feel like the Cavaliers would have a little bit of a stronger chance like in playoffs and stuff, but I don't know.
But is this just Donovan Mitchell just repeating every team he's been on? You guys know I like to bring this up.
You're gonna bring
As
up that
as
he does good in the regular season, gets smoked in the playoffs.
as 3 of you shake your head as soon as I said that. So this is
Yeah, I didn't
me
expect
just
this
reversing
comment.
back to it. Is it?
It could be,
Is it?
history repeats itself. I was just saying, I'd like to think it's different this year. I feel like this Cavs team
Is it?
has been different. Yes. I think Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have been playing like absurd this year. I think they're starting to like make a name for themselves on the Cavs um as being a top team in the East. And I just feel like it's just different.
Is it?
Um, I'm gonna
I'm a
say it's
smile.
different.
I'm a smile and wave till the end of the season comes. Y'all
All
playing
right.
good now. We'll
I,
see.
I'm gonna say it is different, so much so that I might even change my answer just because do you guys remember what the general age is of players that end up winning a championship? Around what age?
27 or 28.
It's 28. How old do you think Donovan Mitchell is?
28.
Starting his season off 8-0 with his team? I might just for the vibes, I might have to change my answer. No, I'm kidding. But no, I genuinely would rebuttal that with it could be different. He's had some time in the league and going forward, he might be in his prime. We don't know. Probably not.
I was gonna say it depends on how you define contender because every team in the East is getting stopped by the Celtics. But like a contender, in my opinion, is like, will they compete? Yes, the Cavs will compete at least. Therefore, they are a contender. Will they go to, do I believe they'll go to the finals? No. So if that's like what contender would mean, then like definitely they're not a contender. But if they match up against like I could see them going against the Celtics in the ECF. So it's like, okay, that could happen. And I think the ECF and WCF teams are like all four of those teams are contenders technically. So like in that case, contender, if you're talking about going to the finals, I think they'll lose to like the Celtics first. So in that case, not a contender.
I consider a contender like can they make the ECF?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
that's the way I was thinking about it.
Make
Yeah.
Making the conference finals, you're a contender. Making the finals, you're a juggernaut.
Deal.
Powerhouse. I like it.
That's how I always thought. I don't know. But
Yeah.
moving on to our last team here, if there are no last other thoughts from Cleveland, I see 3 heads going sideways, so we're going to move on to the last team here from the East. 7th seeded, 3 win, 4 losses. Pacers of Indianapolis, former conference finals teams last year, pretender or contender. And the offense carry them that far again
No.
because
No.
not a lot of defense being played there.
That is shout out to my Pacers fans. A lot of them listen to this podcast. You know who you are. Pacers are not contenders. Pacers are pretenders, and the reason why is because Halliburton is just not a superstar. He's a star, but he's not leading that team to the finals. Um, Again, I mentioned our preseason rankings where he didn't make our backcourt players. He's proving us right now. So, um, yeah, for the simple reason that Halliburton can't. I don't believe in Halliburton carrying a team. And some people will argue that it's Siakam that's going to do it. I don't think either of them can do it. And I don't really believe in like the chemistry theory. Like you need a couple players who could do it. So I'm going to go Pretender on that.
Okay, I guess I should start off by saying that I like Halliburton. I like the Pacers. But I'm definitely not biased towards them. Like I definitely don't think Halliburton is, like you said, Miles, I would agree, he's not a superstar. Um, but I think I'm gonna go with Contender simply because could see this situation playing out in a but then there's just so many teams I'm thinking about now that like in the East that did get just as good.
There's just better
You know,
teams.
yeah, strictly from that basis, honestly, because I was gonna argue that I think the Pacers could pull it off and get back to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't even agree with that anymore. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go Pretenders. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Pretender as well, man. I mean, like you guys said, there's a lot better of teams this season, I feel like. And them going to the Eastern Conference Finals last year was great. I just do not think they could do that again this year. That's a tough feat for a lot of teams. And this year, it just doesn't seem like they're the same team.
Flash in
Uh,
the pan.
I'll say this: if Tibbs does his thing with the Knicks, and if Embiid somehow goes out or just continues to miss games, I got my money on the Pacers. But
Embiid got suspended before he even touched the floor. That's so funny. That's
And Paul
hilarious.
Do you see what he
Paul
said about
George's
like the city?
performance.
Yeah, him just moaning. They gave you 300 million. They've done a lot for you.
Yeah. I
They've done
guarantee
a
he
lot.
doesn't pay for anything that any place that 7-footer walks into, I guarantee he doesn't pay for in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, the city's done a lot for him, bringing him 3, 4 different big threes, and this is what they get in return. But Miles, I was kind of shocked of what you said in the beginning. You know Pacers fans?
Yeah, we had a Pacers fan email last week, email into the show. Shout out Andrew, the biggest Pacers fan I know. Halliburton's not a superstar. He'll watch this too.
Yeah,
He'll see this. So
yeah, he's not.
Oh no.
Didn't you and Victor want to throw him in the top 10 for
It
backcourts?
was
I
me.
couldn't remember how it goes.
It was
It
me.
was you. It was you.
I was
And
rooting against.
that
I remember
destroyed me.
I remember editing that, dude. You guys are funny. Kevin still doesn't like that you tried to squeeze him in there.
And
I couldn't remember how it went. If it was you and Miles, if it was a fever dream, I couldn't remember. So I wanted to ask. I wasn't trying to
I was
stir
just
the pot.
I was trying to put him at 10. I wasn't trying to put him any higher than that, I think.
I think we settled on Trae Young and Dame. Trae Young, Dame, and Anthony Edwards at 10-9-8, I think it was, for the backcourt
Yeah.
ranking.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell was higher than Ant.
Sick. So unless the East gets injured again, Pacers aren't returning back to the conference finals. I'm gonna go with Pretender as well. High-powered offense can only take you so far. Zero defense there.
Except for Aaron Nesmith. Shout out the boy. He's a dog. I miss you.
Aaron Nesmith is a dog. So is Miles Turner. Had 30 the other night. But that was Pretenders or Contenders. Let us know what y'all think. Did we hit or miss?
All right, now we're gonna get into rising stars of the NBA season so far. It's been 2 weeks of action, and there's been a couple players that have had their game going to an insane level compared to last season, and we're gonna get into that. Who have you guys seen that you guys think is a potential rising star?
I looked at the list before I hopped on the pod today, and y'all took Julian Champagnie off. That was low.
Bro, we had 10 players. We had 10 players on that thing,
I
bro. We
know.
can't talk
I
about 10
know.
players.
He was near the top. He was near the top. It's fine.
The
It's
Spurs
fine.
are doing well, so we'll give him his flowers. The GMLB patented basket of flowers will go to Julian Champagnie this episode.
Successful young man. He's 23. He's been playing good. He's got the strap. I like him this year.
Summer League All-Star. If you haven't seen his Summer League posters, bro, they're insane. They're insane.
He's nice. He's nice. Forget Devin Vassell. Trash.
Has he played yet? I think he's
No,
been
he's
hurt.
hurt. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
he's
was gonna
hurt. I
say.
haven't seen him play at all.
He's in the lab right now. He's getting better.
No,
Wait.
he's on the G League. got demoted. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. You got demoted to the G League. I meant to tell y'all that
Devin
the other
Vassell
day.
did?
Hell yeah,
I
garbage.
think. Did you tell me that, Kevin, or did Marian? You might have told me that over the
Are you sure
weekend.
he's not just like coming back from an injury and they're just putting him there to like rev
Could've
up
sworn
again?
I don't know, man. I think they said I think he's like shuttling back and forth. I don't think he's hurt.
He had 36 points in the G League. Wait, what?
Yeah, but it was
Oh
in the G
no,
League.
he's just in there for rehab. Rehab continues with G League trip.
Yeah.
He's just revving up again.
He's probably just getting conditioning.
Yeah, but like you can run laps.
Bro wants him to be in the G League for real so bad.
Whatever, coach. It's the most coach thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, what are you, Gooder? Come on, man.
Hey, wait, Daniel, what'd you say you had an inside source from following him on IG?
No, nothing.
Ball Sack Sports hit you up.
Yeah.
No, I just
Centel.
follow him on I just follow him on Instagram, and I see he's always hooping at rec centers and stuff. No, not rec
Oh.
centers, LA Fitnesses. That's surprisingly, actually, he does hoop at a lot of like LA Fitnesses.
I took us very off track.
I was gonna say, let's reel it in here.
Now we're
fellas.
talking about LA Fitness.
Yeah, all right. Trey Mann.
Yeah, Trey Man.
Trey Man, yep. What about
Trey
him?
Man, yep. What about him?
Nothing. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched very like a lot of Hornets ball, but from what I have seen of him, he seems to fit well within their style of play. Definitely. I really don't know what to say about this dude, honestly, because the Hornets, like, they're just kind of that team that is in the East, and I'm assuming is going to fall out of contention for playoffs or anything serious. So I don't really know what else to say other than good on Trey Mann for being good on that team.
I will say he is currently averaging 18 3 rebounds and 4 assists on 5 less minutes than last season.
And off the
So
bench.
and off the bench. So I believe he was averaging like 11 points last season. Obviously, points aren't everything, but a 7 point increase in 5 less minutes and off the bench is pretty spectacular for a young guy, young swaggy man replicating AI in the current day NBA. It's actually tough. I know you guys have seen him
Yeah.
with
He
the
is
braids.
The shorts down to his ankles. Yeah, he's playing more efficient, seems like.
he has that sick IG post where he was like, bring 2000 swag back, where he's like dressed up in like all 2000 swag. It's pretty cool.
It's
But
actually tough.
I was gonna say, I know Thunder fans, when the Gordon Hayward trade went down, were really upset that they had to get rid of Trey Mann, and we're seeing that right now. You know, he's hooping. Everybody at preseason was talking about this guy, and regular season came, and he's doing his thing. He's doing really well for the Hornets. Hornets are gonna be a fun team to watch this year. You know, so I like
So
seeing
far
them good.
they have been with Grant Williams and his antics so far this season. It's been interesting to say the least. Tackling Tatum, that was a fun one. I will say he's shooting 44% from three right now, which is absolutely knocked down. Incredible shooting. So, it isn't for it's cool that you brought up the Hayward trade because I completely forgot that he was like that's the trade that sent him there. And it sucks because Hayward just went and retired after and like clearly wasn't happy in Oklahoma City. So, um, to be fair though, I don't really know where he would fit right now on the Thunder because they have Case and Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, like their young guards are pretty set in stone there. So, um, potentially a best of both worlds trade because like yeah, Hayward retired, but he was when he did play, he was a positive player for them. So
So there's this one guy on Memphis. Couldn't tell you his name. I saw it the other day. Couldn't tell you his name. He's this big random white dude. Do you know his name? Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
Jake Lavaria.
No, Santi Aldama.
No,
Santi Aldama's the dude from Spain. You're thinking of Jake
no.
LaRavia.
Am I? Well, it might be him again. Really couldn't tell you. I have to look at my Instagram. G League Defensive Player of the Year. He's shooting 56% from three right now. He's averaging like 11 points. Big, tall, athletic, white dude. Absolute knockdown. 56% from three. Are you kidding? G League
Damn.
depoy.
Who? Wait, is it LaRavia? I think who I think you're thinking of is LaRavia because it's not Conchar. Yeah, it's Jake LaRavia. It
Okay,
is Jake
Jake, I was
LaRavia.
gonna say that sounded familiar. Yeah, Jake LaRavia, averaging 11 points, 56% from three. G League depoy. He's here.
Yeah, bro, that dude. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he like start? Did he start games? I might be wrong on that, but he plays a ton because I've watched.
Yeah.
I think so far this season I've watched 3 Memphis games, and dude, he plays heavy minutes. He
Yeah.
plays heavy minutes. So, um, shout out Santi Aldama though, Vic, because he's one of my favorite players in
That's
the
who I
league.
was. He's one of your favorite players in the league.
Bro, he is an incredibly positive player. That dude like shoots threes, plays great defense, consistent, grabs offensive boards. Like that guy is like their glue guy.
Yeah.
Aldama's a beast. He's been a beast too. But yeah, LaRavia out of nowhere. I remember turning on the first game of the season. I was like, who is this? And then he played like the whole game. So
He averaged 1 point last year, so a 10-point increase in the average.
yeah, he's right. The Memphis Grizzlies are right behind the Rockets for my favorite teams to watch right now. They're a fun squad for sure.
One player I want to mention was Dyson Daniels. You know, he's really stepping up into that increase of like the starting role with Bogdanovich being out. And he's been playing really good defensively. You know, that trade from New Orleans got him to the Hawks. And he's been playing pretty well within this Hawks starting lineup. I'm interested to see if once Bogdanovich comes back, how they're gonna utilize him.
I will say something about Dyson Daniels. 3 stocks a game. Absolute dog on defense. That's the same as Evan Mobley right now. So that's pretty sick for a guard. Also, I will say I found this stat on Dyson Daniels, did a little research before the pod. Dyson Daniels is the most added player in ESPN leagues over the last 2 weeks for fantasy basketball. Everyone
He,
just picks him up.
he was on my team.
Really? That's
Yeah.
actually dope. But yeah, I'm sure most people listening to this pod have heard about the Dyson Daniels increases, but went from shooting 31% to 35% from three, currently averaging 13, 4, and 3. So pretty spectacular role player for the Atlanta Hawks. Well, I was gonna say if there's any time to talk about Evan Mobley, it's now because All-Star appearance this year. You heard it here first. 18, 8, and 3 already. 8-0 Cavaliers. 3 stocks, pretty solid for a big. Obviously not Dyson Daniels, but 84% from the free throw line from 71% last season. That's an easy extra 5 points a game, fellas. That's 5 points a game if he knocks those down. I think it's coming to fruition here with the All-Star on Mobley.
But will he get those fan votes? That's a true question.
Man, F the fan votes, bruh. Give the man what he deserves. They tried to put Zaza Pachulia in an All-Star game, bro. I don't even want to hear no fan votes.
A Warriors fan base compared to a Cavs fan base is completely different.
Man,
Especially with that squad.
if the Cavs had LeBron, Evan Mobley's an All-Star.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know where I was going with that, but it's facts.
Tough to disagree, but yeah, I mean he's playing well. Again, will he get the fan votes? I don't think so, because he's not a attractive player to the eye when watching him play. But maybe if he can get it up to 22 points per game, it's going to be hard not to get him in there.
True. I just think if he can get up to like 3 blocks, he'll make it.
Especially, I think another like thing that could maybe get him into contention for it is Paulo being hurt. I don't know how long that oblique injury is gonna like sideline him for. I know they were saying 4 to 6 weeks, but then you got to get back into conditioning shape and stuff like that with that because that's a tough injury, man. You know, you're not gonna be able to really move.
Yeah, I was talking to my roommate yesterday about Paulo and like an oblique injury just sounds so painful, man. Like if you move any direction, like any type of movement would hurt so bad. So that sucks that he's hurt though, because he was hooping before he went down with injury too. I
Yeah,
know
he
I know
got off to a
Kevin
great start.
Kevin likes to talk about him since since he's a Duke head and no one puts any respect on his name. So Kevin makes sure to give Paulo the respect on the show.
Had the first 50 ball of the season.
It's interesting.
Has anybody else
is interesting.
had one?
No.
Not that I know of.
I think
off the top.
Garland might have been a one-off, right? He had 49.
He had 39.
39. We're going to get into our 2v2 draft of active lefties in the league. Daniel and Miles are going to be on a team, and me and Kevin are going to be on the other team. Daniel has the first pick. Daniel, who are you selecting first?
My first pick, I'm gonna add a little bit of defense and shooting to my team. Give me Herb Jones.
Bruh, I didn't mean that crazy. I know I told you take someone
said it.
crazy. Oh man. Nah, you know what, Daniel? We gonna be all right, bro. We gonna be all right. I promise we gonna be all right. That's a crazy first pick. Nah, I told you to though. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
All right, so I'm going to go with the first pick, and I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson.
Soft. I'm gonna take what I think is the best player on this list, and I'm gonna bet money that he'll be healthy. I'm going Zion Williamson. We're just gonna make the Pelicans out here.
About to say.
We got Herb Jones and Zion. Zion, when he's healthy, top 10 player in the league.
All right, and then with my first pick in the draft, I'm gonna go ahead and take Sabonis. I'm gonna let y'all have Marvin Bagley or James Wiseman. Figure it out. I'm locking a center down. I just wanted to get a center.
Hey, Daniel, low key, Julius Randle at the 5.
We
We're
got
just
to
gonna have a
back to
team
back.
of
I was
But-
thinking
me?
more Joe Ingles.
No, it's going to be me.
I was about to say.
With our back-to-back, you said it. That was who I was going with. I was going to go with Julius Randle for our
Daniel.
four.
Daniel,
Is it me? Oh,
I
is it me?
I cannot stress this enough. There is someone on this board that by the grace of this show, we have to pick. He has to be on our team. And he's gonna run the 5 for us. I'll let you pick who you think it
It
is.
better not be who I'm thinking.
It's
'Cause
exactly
I feel like
who
I'm
you
giving
think it
you
is.
more credit than what I think you're gonna do to us. But I have a feeling you're not. So, is it my pick then?
It is your pick.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, let's go the ISO King. I'm not doing it yet, Miles. You can do it if you want. James Harden.
Okay, so we got James Harden, Herb Jones, and Zion Williamson. Who am I adding to the squad? Some say Jerry West is the logo. Some say the logo should be Kobe. But unfortunately, this is the Good Morning Let's Basketball show. And I'm going with our very own logo, Ben Simmons, to run the center position for us.
Dude,
I knew y'all were gonna get him.
We have to.
There is a center that is getting slept on. That's a lefty.
No, I know. I was gonna pick him first overall.
Who? I mean, we're not gonna pick him. We have a center and a power forward. Who are we gonna pick?
I was gonna
Listen.
pick Ivica.
That's who I was talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Who?
That's who I was gonna
Zubac.
pick.
Zubac shoots righty, bro.
He's on the
this
list. Yeah.
Well, so is Shea. No one picked him.
Let's see. Is
He shoots righty.
Zubats.
We don't need Zubats. We have Simmons. We can have Ben Simmons run the 5 with this lineup.
Nice. Hey, AI Overview's response to my question is yes. Ivica Zubats of the LA Clippers has a good left hand. That's verbatim what it said.
Shout out AI, making big waves.
Yeah.
All right,
Changing the
so-
landscape of the future. Go ahead.
It's my pick.
Yes, it is.
All right. So Vic, we need a shooting guard and a small forward left. I'm gonna go ahead and take a shooting guard. I'm very confident in this pick because he's just improved so much over this past few years with his shot, with his defense overall. Give us Kelly Oubre at shooting guard.
Yeah, with our final pick, we got to go to RJ Barrett, man.
What's crazy is neither of you guys picked De'Aaron Fox. He's still on the list.
Well, because I didn't
have
really want him as
Brunson.
a shooting guard.
Yeah, they did get Brunson.
It's like 6'5", but yeah, I guess, yeah. Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, we can go De'Aaron Fox. We'll move him to the 2. He can't get left out. We got to pick him up.
All right, so we have right now are point guard James Harden, shooting guard De'Aaron Fox, small forward Herb Jones, power forward Zion Williamson, center Ben Simmons. Who will our six-man be? It's Miles Bridges. What kind of team would this be without Miles Bridges on the squad? Got to get my name twin on here, and I will not elaborate any further why I chose Miles Bridges. That'll be all.
Think I'm picking six man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so give another run through of our team. At our point guard, we got Jalen Brunson. Our shooting guard, we got Kelly Oubre. Small forward, we got RJ. Power forward, we got Julius Randle. Center, Sabonis. Coming off the bench for us, six man. We're gonna go with the vet, Mike Conley.
Smart man.
We waxed you guys. I'm
It
sorry.
was either him or D'Lo, so I wasn't picking D'Lo.
All right, so the final rosters. I'll say mine first, Kevin. I know you just said yours, but I'll have yours repeated for the fans. So our final roster for Daniel and I, at the point guard, we have James Harden, shooting guard De'Aaron Fox, small forward Herb Jones, power forward Zion, center Ben Simmons, the logo of GMLB, and our sixth man is Miles Bridges.
All right, then for me and Vic's squad, point guard, we got Jalen Brunson. Shooting guard, we got Kelly Oubre. Small forward, RJ Barrett, Maple Mamba. Power forward, we got Julius Random Shot Selection. And at center, we got Sabonis, six man Mike Conley.
I really think it's closer than you guys think.
I mean, you guys don't have a center.
We're giving
And
y'all
you-
the Westbrook treatment on offense.
Let us know in the comments who's winning this game in a 5-on-5 NBA setting.
Can this team go 0-82?
Can this team go 0-82?
Challenge. Very easy.
Thank you again for listening to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball. As you guys know, we have a GMLB email called gmlbfans@gmail.com. Make sure to email us any questions or topics you guys would like us to discuss on the pod. We will be reacting to them live if we see fit. Make sure to follow us on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.